Does Zelda 2 suck? No! No! How dare you suggest such a thing? Look, nerds, don't act like you never tried anything new, okay? Zelda 2 is a great game, and I'm gonna play it now. So don't leave. What's up, nerds? Welcome to my channel. I'm Longy Long, the Ghetto Gamer. Ghetto because every week I'll check out some cool, cheap games for you to expand your collection without going broke. If that sounds like something you're into, maybe hit that subscribe button. Just subscribe. This week we're talking about Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Let's get something straight right off the bat. You kids today, with your sagging britches and your derp step boom boom YouTube intros, you don't know what it was like in the 80s, man. Zelda was cool, but it wasn't the golden child Nintendo franchise it is today. And you know what else? Zelda 1 wasn't even that good. So why wouldn't Nintendo experiment with the format? So what if it's a side-scroller? Maybe if your face wasn't such a side-scroller. Here's the deal. Zelda 2 gets a lot of unfair flack today because it doesn't fit the classic playstyle of the other Zelda games. And sure, if you compare it to Ocarina or Link to the Past or Minish Cap, Link's Awakening, most Zelda games, it's not that great. But think about it. When this came out, we only had one other Zelda game to compare it to. There was no classic format. We just took it as it was, and it's a pretty good game as it is. Look, they brought the franchise to a whole new perspective with this sequel. Plus, there's more action, it requires more skill, there's more variety in the levels, the enemies, towns, items, NPCs. Just about every aspect of this game is superior to the original. And just about every aspect of your face is... Okay, whatever, just leave Zelda 2 alone, okay? It was the 80s, man. Let's play. So why is Zelda 2 so different? Well, because Shigeru Miyamoto said so, that's why. Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka wrote and produced the first Zelda, and they teamed up again for the sequel. However, Miyamoto wanted to have a totally different style from the original, so they brought in a totally different development team. Even the great Koji Kondo sat this game out, and composer Akito Nakatsuka was brought in instead. It was 1986, and Nintendo was rolling in the dough brought in from the first Zelda game, Mario, and their Pay the Piper third-party licensing agreement. They would not miss an opportunity to cash in on a Zelda sequel, and they acted fast. Zelda 2 hit the shelves in Japan before Zelda 1 was even released in North America. Did you catch that? Zelda 2 was released on Japan's Famicom Disk System before North America had even received the cartridge version of Zelda 1. Should I say it again? Zelda 2 was available in Japan before Zelda 1. You get it, I know. My point is that Nintendo was making moves like nobody's business. They had the console market on lock. If you ask me, Zelda 2 is Nintendo at their best in their prime. And me? Well, I was just a dewy-eyed young nerd with an ugly gray controller and a big box of Nintendo cereal. And I was ready to eat. It's possible that my opinion is influenced by the fact that this was the first Zelda game I ever played, and I played it when it was brand new. Much later on, when I decided to try the first Zelda, it kind of felt like a chore to go back to the old way. At that time, we all just figured Zelda 2 was how Zelda games were going to be, and I was totally fine with that. Me and the rest of the 80s nerds spent the next 6 years with just the two Zelda games to choose between. And in 1992, when A Link to the Past was released, we all thought, oh, that's cool, they went back to the top-down view. The old way. See, you kids don't know how good you've got it. What Zelda do you want to play? Twilight Princess? Oh, that one's only pretty incredible. Let's play Breath of the Wild or Wand of Gamelon or any of these other 20-plus Zelda games you have to choose from.
Great! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos!
Back in my day, we had two! And Zelda 2 was the better one. My opinion, of course, but it's true. My opinions are always true. So to my knowledge, this is the only actual direct sequel to the original Legend of Zelda. All the others have been reboots, except A Link to the Past, which I think is a prequel to the original. The instruction manual lays out the plot in a 9-page illustrated story. Apparently, Princess Zelda from the first game is just doing her thing, ruling the kingdom or whatever, when Link discovers there's the legend of a different Zelda from generations before. She's been sleeping under a spell for years and... oh, here she is. How awkward is this? So now Link's running around the kingdom all hours of the night, drinking potions with his buddies, encountering strange women in their basements so he can arouse this newer, more legendary Zelda, while the old Zelda from the first game just stays back at home with the kids and wonders if Link will ever come back. That's cold, Link! Anyway, if Link dies, the forces of evil will resurrect Ganon and take over Hyrule, so we don't want that. Link has to place some gems in some palaces to unlock the forest or something like that. In the first Zelda, most of the action took place in the overworld. In this game, the overworld is just for navigation to different palaces and dungeons where the action switches to the side-scrolling style. Unlike Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior, battles aren't random, which I really appreciate. Bad guys appear on the map and you can often avoid them, and if you stick to the road, they won't appear at all, although you usually have to get off the road to go where you need to go. The palaces are laid out like mazes. You've got to find keys, battle monsters, and all that stuff. The controls are good and the fighting and platforming are all pretty balanced. Challenging, but not impossible. At least not impossible till the final palace, which is where I rage quit pretty much every time. The game plays a bit like Metroid, requiring players to defeat bosses and find power-ups that make new areas accessible, like the candle to light up dark caves and the high jump spell to reach ledges you normally couldn't. Overall, this is a good game. It doesn't suck. I mean, unless you compare it side by side with Link to the Past or Ocarina. I mean, Mario and Castlevania experienced similar growing pains, so just think of Zelda 2 as the awkward adolescent phase of the franchise. Besides that, this is a great game in its own right. So that's my whole review. And I know I spent more time ranting than actually reviewing the game, but I mean, come on, you already have the game if you're a retro gamer. And if you're not, you don't need me to convince you. It is a Zelda game, and it's good. Why you gotta be mean about it? Thank you so much, guys. If you enjoyed my video, be sure to hit that like button to let me know. If you want to see when I make new videos, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified. If you want to get a whole bunch of free waffles in the mail, hit the waffle button right up here. There's not one. Does Zelda 2 suck? No! Does Zelda 2 suck? No! Does Zelda 2 suck? No! Does Zelda 2 suck? No!